Hello future Kayla, it's me, present Kayla, back with another video. Today's video is called Fatphobia is So Last Season, and I'm going to be going over fatphobia and the rise of anti-fatness that I'm seeing recently. But before we get into all of that, I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who watched. Oh, and by the way, this is not a real mic. If you weren't here last time, it is a real mic, but it's not actually plugged into anything. I just like having something to hold in my hand. But yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to everyone who watched my last video. It has over 100 views, or 116 to be specific, and it's only been 4 days, and that is incredible to me. I think breaking 100 views at all is crazy, so thank you to everyone who watched, even for a second, even if it was just to stare at my face for 5 minutes. I really appreciated it. Secondly, I would be remiss if I did not get into the hair. Like, hello. So I usually do cornrows pretty often, but I decided to like put some effort into it and kind of like focus on the parts and add the gel and do the beads, all the things. And so we got this style, and it's really cute. I love cornrows so bad, like so bad. I am a cornrow, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but whatever. Cornrow, when you look it up in the dictionary, me right next to it. So I'm really excited, and I'm happy to have beads. I feel like I'm just going back to my inner child. Like, I always had beads as a child, like braids and beads with my natural hair. So it just feels like I'm getting back to someone I once was. Anyways, we can get into the video now. So this is actually my like third or fourth time trying to make this video. One, because I've been nervous and I realized that I'm not talking like myself. So if in the initial 10 minutes I'm a little uptight, it'll wear off. I'm still getting used to this. And also, I had some technical difficulties, and I am glad about that though, because as I scroll on TikTok more and more every day, I'm seeing more and more things that I want to talk about, so I'm glad that it happened. I wrote like a little script a while ago, 2 days ago, when I was making the video, and it was helpful, but I also was struggling with it, just to give you full fourth wall transparency. But I'm going to try to do this off the dome and lead from the heart, because I feel like the reason I want to talk about this is because I feel so passionately about it. So anyways, jumping in. I have been seeing so much anti-fatness on my social media pages, specifically TikTok, because Instagram, for me, the people I follow, it's just more so political activity. But for my For You page on TikTok, oh my lord. So, and I think when people hear anti-fatness, they might think of like blanket statements that like being fat is bad, or like criticizing fat people, or like talking poorly about fat people. I also want to emphasize with this video that the word fat is not a bad word. You can call someone fat as long as you're not saying it in a derogatory way, and it's something they're okay with themselves. But like, fat is not a slur, so it shouldn't be a slur. It's just a blanket statement of how someone can describe their body type. So anyways, I myself, as a mid-sized girly, I try, and I know people have problems with the word mid-size. I am gonna call myself it because I don't know what else to call myself. I feel like in some ways I can be considered plus size, but I also am not the most plus size you can get, so I don't want to like appropriate an identity that is not me. So I'm gonna stick with mid-size. If you have another suggestion, I'm all ears. But anyways, I feel very passionately behind this, because I feel like as someone who's like, in some regards, is not too far from being skinny or like having a body type that is ideally within the beauty standard, but also can like be considered fat. Like, I got called a fat bitch, so I feel like because of that, I don't know, I think that gives me a little bit of credentials, y'all. I also have dealt with my own like body image issues or whatever, so when I'm very careful about the stuff that I consume on the internet for this specific reason. So I'm scrolling on my For You page, and I'm seeing videos of people like talking about their like juice cleanses that they're going on. I also want to give like a giant trigger warning. I'm not going to get into too much detail about anything regarding eating disorders or anything like that, but this video is very much like going to be touching on or dancing around those topics, so do what you need to do in order to be well. Anyway, so on my For You page, and I'm seeing people talk about like the juice cleanse that they're going on, talking about, oh yeah, like me going on a juice cleanse a month before I have an event that I need to go to because I need to lose 30 pounds. Or there was literally a video of this girl, she was going for a walk, and she was like, I don't want to have like the BBL like thick, I don't want to be thick anymore. And she was like I would say like a plus size, mid-sized girl. She was like, I don't want to be, and she was black, and I've only seen this from black women. I don't know what's going on in other races. This is my perspective, is from black women, and that's kind of what I'm basing this on. And this, I think that makes a little bit more nuance, but I'll talk about that in a second. So she was saying she doesn't want to be thick anymore. She wants to have a Lori Harvey, like, skinny Pilates-esque body. Like, she wants to be skinny. She doesn't want to be curvaceous. She just thinks it's more, like, I don't know if she said feminine, but this is also what I've been seeing attributed to people talking about losing weight. But she also feels like she's attracting the wrong type of guys with her body type. Like, she feels like her body type, if she was skinny, she would attract a certain kind of guy, but because she's fat or plus size, she only attracts like a specific demographic of black men, and so she doesn't want to be, she wants to be skinny. And I've just been seeing a lot, and I can go on and on and on about the different examples of things I've been seeing on TikTok of people who are saying, like, I guess pretty regular things about wanting to lose weight or wanting to lose weight, not even be in better shape, just wanting to lose weight, and how I feel like we're kind of encroaching on dangerous territory when it comes to the whole thing. And I really wanted to make a video about it because I don't think we realize collectively, because I am myself involved in all of this, how even like small things can get us into dangerously close territory of fat phobia and hating fatness, and in turn hating fat people for being fat, you know? And that is not good. I don't think that has to be said. And forgive me, I'm trying to like organize how I want to go about this. So I think I'll take it back a little bit. I think this rise of fat phobia is deeply connected to the rise of the early 2000s aesthetic, like everyone's dressing like, you know, our favorite Disney Channel characters and bringing back those styles or whatever. And with that comes the diet culture of the early 2000s. It wasn't too long ago when I myself was accompanying my mom to go to Jenny Craig and like get on a diet plan, or seeing Weight Watchers in the fridge, or Biggest Loser workout DVDs. And I was alive. I was conscious during that time, but I was alive during that time. I don't know if I was conscious during that time, but I remember Oprah specials, you know, and I just remember weight loss, not weight gain, being so deeply entwined into like everything that I saw and that we talked about. And I think this is an example that when I previously did this video, I waited to the end to say it, but I'll say it now. For me, I remember being younger, and I remember I was still a young child looking at a picture of myself when I was much younger, and I was looking at how skinny my arms were and how like skinny I was in general. And I remember going to my mom trying to prove something to someone, like, right, I was skinny when I was younger, and I was referring to this picture of myself that I had on a red baby fat tank top, the apple bottom jeans, and the boots with the fur. I was fitted out. But I remember looking at a picture, and I don't know where that picture is, but I know it happened because of the description of this outfit I was wearing, and just thinking about how skinny I was and how skinny my arms were. And for me, growing up, it always felt like being skinny was the default for the human body, and I had like somehow fucked up my one chance to be skinny, and so I was always trying to like get back to that default that I had like gotten so far away from. And it's kind of like the girls who said that their mom permed their hair when they were like, my hair would be so long if my mom did not perm it when I was 4 years old. And it's just like hanging on to this, like, I used to be skinny to have some type of currency or some type of value. And so things like that understanding, I think, is just embedded into our society as a whole. And that's where I grow a little weary with this, like, everyone's moving to trying to be skinny and working out or whatever. But we'll get into it in a second. So yeah, we have that whole craze of the early 2000s, everyone wanting to be skinny. And then with the 2010s and honestly 2016, honestly I will say 2010s because I watched a video on this by Teeny Ward, and she talked about the hyperfixation on natural bodies. And I'm going to link that below in the description because I think that's just like some required reading for this video, just so you know the kind of like background that I'm coming from. But she talked about how when Nicki Minaj came onto the scene, this was more so about like not talking about plastic surgery. It's a good video, you should watch it. But I think I would attribute that also like Nicki Minaj's body and like silhouette to also being connected to like Fashion Nova jeans. Like the whole craze around Fashion Nova jeans was not in fact that the jeans were so great, but because the models that they were advertising the jeans on had BBLs, and you know, they were selling BBLs, not really because, you know, the BBLs didn't come with the jeans, but they were selling this aesthetic, this bodily aesthetic. And so it kind of shows that our bodies have always been a fashion accessory. So it's kind of inevitable that as we like go across trends, and you know, as my generation plays around with different trends and so quickly at that you know, the image on what body is presently the beauty standard is going to fluctuate and it's going to change. And then I want to take a little bit farther back towards my kind of confusion around this whole thing and why it's just so unserious that plus size bodies are viewed with such a negative connotation, is because a couple centuries ago, like maybe, I'm not good with dates. I wrote it down actually. I have a little iPad. So previously in earlier societies, not too, like a little bit, probably like before the 19th century, being fat used to be a marker of wealth. So this is a quote that I got from the National Library of Medicine. It reads, "The scarcity of food throughout most of history had led to connotations that being fat was good, and that corpulence and increased flesh were desirable as reflected in the arts, literature, and medical opinion of the times. Only in the latter half of the 19th century did being fat begin to be stigmatized for aesthetic reasons, and in the 20th century its association with increased mortality was recognized." And so this is kind of how I want to get into my next point. I think it's so trivial because I think we can all understand, or should be able to understand at least, that being fat does not equal being unhealthy. And I say this because it is true, but because I've seen it with my own eyes. There are several people who, more than several. There are millions of people who exist in this world who have underlying health conditions, who are technically skinny and aesthetically skinny and look healthy, but have underlying health conditions. And there are plus size people, there are fat people who exist in this world who are perfectly healthy, who just happen to exist in a larger body, but for all metrics are perfectly healthy. And I want to also preface this video by saying that, obesity in its highest risk form is bad. People can die from their organs not being able to complete their regular bodily functions because they're too overweight. And that's not something I want to ignore. I'm not trying to say just leave fat people alone because it's just for funsies, but it's not like a blanket statement we should all just be nice to everybody. It's not, because I understand there's serious things associated with having a heavier weight loss, heavier body mass, but that's not always the case. Me, now I'll put myself on the table. For example, me, if I go to any BMI metric right now, technically, me, bad bitch, I'm obese. Technically on this scale, I'm obese. But when I go to the doctor, check my blood work, I'm perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm living la vida loca. She had chunks like a chuck. I was like, well, anyways, I've been obsessed with Thong Song recently. But I'm perfectly healthy for all metrics, but I am technically obese. But I don't think that, and I think we all know that the BMI, let me stop saying we all know, because we don't all know. The BMI is not an accurate thing. It's just it's not true. Don't believe it. It's not true. Just because the BMI says you are obese does not mean that is a sound for alarm. Of course, you should always run that by your doctor and your blood work. I'm not a doctor, but I just want to emphasize that being fat does not equal being unhealthy. And I'm trying to get all of my prefaces out of the way so I can really start yelling and get into the crux of it. So this was all prompted for me when I started seeing more talk about Ozempic, especially in Hollywood, from celebrities. And that's when I started to roll my eyes, because I'm like, oh my god. Celebrities are obviously the people that we follow in our society, or just how we should exist in life. We are highly susceptible to celebrity influence. It's just how it works. That's how it goes. And so I started to roll my eyes when everyone in fucking Hollywood was getting on Ozempic, because I'm like, oh my god, the kids. Not even the kids, me, bitch, me. Because it's so easy when you're seeing everyone around you who was once plus size, Rebel Wilson, Kelly Clarkson, Mindy Kaling, Oprah. And I'm not throwing these people's names out because, again, like I said, I don't know what's going on in anybody's body, because once again, it goes down to the blood work, and I cannot conduct blood work. So those people, and Kelly Clarkson has said that she's not on Ozempic, she's on something else. And I'm not throwing it out there because she is just lost weight. I'm just trying to say that it seems like her, in conjunction with other individuals, also seem to be now significantly skinny in a very short amount of time. I closed my eyes and Kelly Clarkson was skinny, and Rebel Wilson was really the first person that I was like, the fuck, what just happened? And so seeing everyone suddenly want to be skinny, seeing those celebrities suddenly want to be skinny, it signals to all of us okay, maybe maybe skinny is in, maybe I need to get on my Zoom, I need to go to the gym, I need to do this and I need to do that. But I think we have such unhealthy understandings of what it means to work out, what it means to be getting to a place where our body is in a healthy position, because we associate skinniness with being healthy. So we're down to do whatever. We're down, eating disorders, poor, use of the gym, like overuse of the gym, like eating and then going to the gym, and then unhealthy behaviors that I low-key am not privy to, because I'm not gonna say what happened to me, because it would be insensitive. But I'll say, I think I tried to not eat for a minute, but I just couldn't do it. Like, I just really could not. I'm like, fuck it, this shit is too much. I can't do this. So I'm not really privy to, like, the deep intricacies of what it looks like to have an unhealthy relationship with food and your body, but it's serious, and I think that's why I get concerned when just saying, like, it seems like everyone's suddenly skinny, and now, okay, we all gotta jump in line and get skinny, because, A, we're not all cooking with the same gas. Like, I fear celebrities are using their own doctor's regimens. They have, like, better access to better medical institutions, so even if they're not using Ozempic, even if they're losing weight in a perfectly healthy way, the average person does not have access to those same resources. And, okay, so yeah, that's where the Ozempic thing came in for me. And then we get to the big back of it all. And I know, I don't want to kill anyone's fun. I don't want to be a party pooper. I don't want to do this. I really don't. But it's getting a little concerning, because I thought we were joking, and some of us are not joking. So if you're not familiar with the term big back is kind of a little joke or slogan that was coined on TikTok, or I don't know where it was, maybe on Twitter. I think it started on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in a year. I'm sober. And I guess it moved to TikTok eventually, but basically it coincides with, like, big back behavior. So, like, say if you're eating a whole Chipotle bowl in, like, 10 minutes, that was a big back activity, or just anything that involves, like, eating a meal that might not be the healthiest, or eating a lot of that meal, or doing something that's big back behavior. And big back refers to your back, having and being fat. That's what it pertains to. And I worry because I don't think some of us are joking when we say big back, and I'm just a little concerned, because I think that because joking and being silly about fatness and making fun of fat people is how we got into this position of such a heavy level of fat phobia in our society. So I don't know if y'all are equipped to be joking about fat phobia but not actually mean it. That's just where my concern comes in. What else am I missing? Let me look at my script. Oh, okay. On my For You page, I constantly see videos of women who have undergone massive weight transformations and talk about how much differently they get treated now compared to when they were fat. And that is because we hate fat people. We hate people who are fat in our society, and we dehumanize them because they are fat. And from the perspective of people who have lost weight, who have once been fat and lost weight, they see that firsthand. They see how losing a couple 100 pounds can make the difference between you being treated like a human on a regular basis and being treated like dirt, like shit, like dog shit someone just stepped on at the bottom of their shoe. And it's insane to me. And I think I get really fearful of, honestly, everything I'm seeing, because, like I said before, I've never been privy to, I'm not like it's privy, I've luckily not dealt with something as severe as an eating disorder in this life. As much as I struggle with my body and feeling big, I've just never experienced that. But I have witnessed it with people around me, and it's just such a thing that you can't control, obviously, because of especially the images that we're seeing and the way people talk about fatness and the fear associated with the fear of being fat that just exists in our society because of the way you're dehumanized, because of the comments from parents, because of the comments from family members, because of the way our bodies become accessories and aesthetics. But bitch, you will not shame me into an eating disorder on this planet, in this life, in this one life that I got. And but I low-key, like, I feel it already happening. Like, I'm watching the TikTok videos, and I'm seeing the people who lose weight, and I'm like, damn, maybe I should go to the gym. Like, maybe if I just lost my belly, and and this is when the trigger warnings were coming, but when I was in high school, I wore a waist trainer every day, and I'm just like, why did I have a waist trainer? Why was I wearing a waist trainer in high school every day? Sips water. Shouldn't have been done that. Shouldn't have been doing that in this life. And then the other day, I was gonna wear this outfit that I wear all the time. I had like a little tight tank top and my biker shorts. It gives a little bodysuit action. I wear that all the time. No waist trainer. Let the rolls in the back hang out. Let the tummy in the front hang out. Do what it do, you know? And then the other day, I found myself going in my drawer, and I didn't bring any like waist trainer stuff with me to college, because I was just like, I bought it like freshman year, and then I didn't wear it, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm over this. I'm past this. And then I somehow find myself pulling it out and putting it on, trying to wear my, you know, biker shorts and Skims top outfit. I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing, bro? And I can associate it directly with the TikToks that I've been seeing recently. It's not bad that anyone else is losing weight. It's not their fault that them losing weight. It's not, them losing weight does not mean that I should now feel like I have to go and like be skinny and have a T body, you know, or body T, you know. That's not what should be happening, but it's that in conjunction with the way people are speaking so casually about, baby, you have an eating disorder. Like, and it's not funny at all, but it's like, the juice cleanse for a month, baby, you're not eating. And seeing it in real life too, like, and things that I don't want to talk about because it's not my business, but it's just a little concerning. Like, I don't know, friends. I don't know. And I think that we have more power in this than we give ourselves credit for, and I've been seeing that also on my For You page of people making videos to counter this. Like Taylor Marie, who's also a commentary video person. I don't know if she still does it. I haven't watched her videos in a while. But I reposted a TikTok that she made on my story the other day about her saying how because she's gained weight, and she had like a second puberty or something. Oh, she's just 20 and her body changes, so it's fine. And she's now adjusting to being in like a mid-sized body and learning to love that body. And I think that that's just content that we need to see, because fortunately, the body that I had at 17 is not the body that I have right now, and it's never going to be that body, I fear. And I'm kind of glad, because the body right now is T. Like the body is bodying, body yada 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 yada. But anyways, I wouldn't want that body. But even if the body wasn't like T in a stereotypical beauty standard way, which I don't think it is, but, you know, I don't know, it would still be perfectly fine that my body has changed and that it was never going to go back to the way that it was at 17, because I'm not 17 years old. And our bodies are living, breathing things that are carrying out the functions of major organs that are, you know, if you're in an able-bodied body, it's allowing you to walk without any help. It's making sure your muscles are okay, making sure that, you know, your heart can pump, which is a major organ. Your body is doing a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised that with age and with time, that's changing, and it's the way that it can carry things is changing as well. And I think we need to bring it back to that, because it's hard when we're built in a society that is just so focused on aesthetic and everything being aesthetic and every angle being perfect, and we're just so highly surveilled. Like, even outside of the state and the government things, you can't go about your day without the fear of someone recording you or taking a picture of you at a bad angle, or you just happening to be in the background of somebody's picture. Now you're like being made fun of because you made a bad face, or someone posting a picture of you where you're in the background, they didn't realize it, but you look bad. All of these things were highly surveilled. So I understand what people are like feeling. Especially, I think I'm even more worried because we didn't have this level of surveillance. Oh my god, let me slow down. I'm even more concerned because we didn't have this level of surveillance when the 2000s diet culture existed. Like, yes, we had magazines and whatever, but you couldn't just like have a magazine photo shoot taken of yourself on a random Tuesday as a random person, you know. But because we can do that now, of course, that's like the social media era has had like its skinny era. Like, this is not like new for social media, but I think that with this like rise with my generation, it's just even more concerning, because I think because we think we're so like self-aware and aware of everything, we don't also realize the ways that we can be susceptible, hard word to say, to this kind of like diet culture advertising. It's just being rebranded in different ways, but it's still the same fucking essence. Like, okay, you gotta get on your Zoom, you gotta get in the gym because, you know, hot girl summer. It's just the same thing as saying, you know, Paris Hilton just photographed on the beach, whatever. It's the same shit they were putting in magazines, just different wording to fit the generation. And I was saying that we have more power than we think we do, because we are able to say, actually, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't want to be skinny, because I think what I had to learn, I know that I had to learn that my body, my default is not skinny. I'm just not meant to be that. If it happens, it happened, but it also even shouldn't be that, because I'm really cool where I'm at. I am, for the first time in my life. And it deeply hurts me, like, on a personal level, when people, because again, I have experiences in proximity to others, when people are not at that place with themselves, because it's not their fault. It's not anything that they can really, it's not their fault that it happened, and it's hard to get out of it. And it's not their, I keep saying it's not their fault, because it's the fault of, like, advertisements, and again, the way we speak to each other, the casual things we say, because even if we're joking about the big bag, like, deep down, when little Molly goes home, she doesn't want to eat her food because she doesn't want to be called a big bag, you know? It's just, I hate to make everything so serious, because I think there's so much serious things happening that we should be able to have our fun and joke and make our jokes, but I don't know, we can't make jokes about fat phobia, I fear. I think there's really healthy ways to engage with working out and wanting to provide, you know, fuel for your body. And I've also, the reason why I think and I've said this out loud in different circles, but the reason why I've been so hesitant with joining the gym or, like, getting more active is because I have this fear of falling into the trap of hating my body. And I've always had to redirect myself and come into the gym with the understanding that I'm doing this because I want to move my body, because my body deserves movement, my body deserves to be stretched out, the same way that I'm doing mental gymnastics to, like, do all these things so I'm smart mentally. My body deserves the same engagement and the same movement. And this is not me going in to change my body or with the lens that I hate my body. In fact, I can't start doing this until I understand that I love my body, you know, and I love the way it looks, because then me going into the gym hating my body is going to be unsustainable. Like, because then I'm gonna have a bad day, I'm gonna eat something that I feel like I shouldn't have eaten, and then it's gonna be like, fuck, and then it's gonna become toxic, a toxic cycle, and I don't want to do that. I've also, what else did I want to say? I almost forgot for a second. Well, I did forget. Let me try to remember. Food. Again, trigger warning, I'm not gonna get into anything, but do what you need to be well. Food, I'm still learning how to do this. I'm trying to learn how to eat healthier, and that it doesn't have to be a bad thing, and that itself is also the hurdle. Like, me trying to eat healthier isn't this betrayal of this body positive thing that I've been trying to adapt. Like, it's not, I'm okay with where my body is at, but it also should mean that I want to make sure that I'm putting good things into my body. Actually good things, not things that I think is going to help me lose weight, but things that are going to give me energy and make sure that I can go about my day. I've really been on a smoothie kick, not on some, like, smoothie is a meal. I eat smoothies for breakfast, or I drink smoothies for breakfast, because breakfast is just, like, it's a little too early for me to be eating something super heavy. Like, my body cannot, but I like eating breakfast because I need that fuel in the morning. So I've been drinking smoothies, and just, like, fruit smoothies, like whatever fruit I have in my fridge. And I love making smoothies. I just, like, throw shit in there and come up with combinations. I do have a smoothie in my fridge that's kind of turning brown, so I need to throw that out, because I put raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, a lot of granola and apples into it. I think the apple might be what's turning it, like, there's like a film of brown at the top. I'm gonna throw it out, y'all. I'm not gonna drink it. But I did the same thing, but instead of apples, and spinach in it, but instead of apples, I put orange juice in it the day before, and it was great. It was fine. And, like, I put a little bit of granola, but the granola is kind of overpowering because I put too much. But anyways, having fun with that. I've been trying to, like, plan out my meals for the week. Again, not on some, like, I'm trying not to eat, but I'm trying to make sure that I know what I'm going to eat, because I think I have so much stress over figuring out what my meal is going to be, so I just default to something that's not healthy. Like, let me just go to the pizza shop, let me just go to a Chinese restaurant and get some food, let me just, you know, a quick and easy thing. But I think being intentional about what I put in my body is important, because it's my body. I need this old girl. She's like a car. Like, I need her to last for the next couple of years, you know, well, not a couple, but several decades, actually. And so I need to be intentional about what I'm putting in my body. Again, not like my body is a temple, I can't, whatever, and not starving myself, but just being intentional about what does go into my body. Me and my mom had a car. Rip to Stephanie. She was a 2005 Nissan Altima. She was the same age as me, she was the same age as me, damn near 20 years old. And I think of my body like I think of Stephanie. Stephanie required a lot over the years, you know, but we took good care of her. We gave her what she needed to survive, but we listened to her when she said, I can't do it right now. Even when she crashed out, we're like, okay, Stephanie, we know your limits, we know your bounds. We won't push you through that again. And I think of my body in the same way. Like, I need to have that longevity with this body, and there are things that are unsustainable. Like, you can't drive Stephanie around for a 2-hour drive because she will crash out. And I think the same way is, like, she needs some fuel, like, she needs some gas. This analogy isn't really, I didn't really think this out too much, but I think the analogy I'm trying to make is maybe, I guess on my, like, environmentalism sustainability kick, I think as a society, we're just so quick to, like, new. I think the fact that we had a car for 20 years was not out of, like, choice and being earthy. No, we just could not afford to get a new car. But, I think putting that energy into, like, because we had to, like, repair her multiple times, and that was not cheap. But that energy into pouring into something instead of, like, getting something new and taking time and, like, taking care of that is just so foreign to us now, because we're just so quick, like, okay, if this breaks, let me get another one. If this rips, let me get another one. Instead of, like, let me sew that up. Let me, like, whatever. And I think sometimes maybe we can think of our bodies in the same way. And this is maybe getting into, like, plastic surgery or whatever. I also see so many people getting, like, on TikTok, who I don't know personally, I don't know what's going on in their lives, so I won't pretend to, but just getting plastic surgery before they're 25. Like, baby, you know you got another puberty coming, because me, I'm waiting on that next puberty, bitch. Like, 25, if I don't get some ass in the back, I'm gonna miss my shit. And I know I just went on a whole, like, kick, like, our bodies are beautiful, yeah, but I want to ass, like, and it's not for anybody else but me. It's really not. And I know, and that's just, I'm not perfect. I'm not Muhammad Gandhi. I'm not gonna sit on a high horse and preach to you, because I do want a fat ass, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna be realistic about it. If it happens, it happens. And that's what I'm gonna have that mentality around. If it happens, it happens. I'm just praying that it really does happen. But anyways, I think we kind of have that same mentality around our bodies. Like, instead of, and I don't know, I haven't thought this out. This wasn't something I thought about. But instead of taking time to understand our bodies and see our bodies as an extension of ourselves, and, like, trying to take care of our bodies, and maybe for me, trying to take care of my body and trying to pour into my body, I can see how someone can be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go, like, do this thing before I really had a chance to sit with my body. Because, again, when you're 20, your body is new, your body is changing, especially with whatever you got going on as a 20-year-old. Like, and at least for me, I'm not gonna say I'd never get any type of whatever surgery, because I don't fucking know. I've only lived this life once, and I haven't gotten to those parts yet. So who's to say? I'm not gonna say I would never, but at least for now, I'm gonna try to sit with what I have and try to see if there's longevity to me made with this. Again, like a car, sometimes you need to go get your windows tinted, and it's not anything you can do about it. You just gotta do it because you want it, and that's okay. It's fine. But I think sitting with the little untinted windows for a little bit to see if that's really what you want, I think would be, and seeing what you can do, like, maybe, I don't know, you know, I can't think of a further analogy for that. But all in all, I just really wanted to, I didn't say everything I wanted to say again, but I don't think I'm ever going to do that. So I'm glad that this video took a more, like, positive turn, because I felt like before the video was taking a negative turn when I did it the first couple of times. But I will say this, I kind of targeted this towards Ozempic, because I focused a lot on Ozempic in my previous iterations of this video. But again, the average person is not, well, I don't know. The people that I guess I'm talking to, that I see on my For You page, are not talking about getting Ozempic, they're talking about eating disorders. And I just want to emphasize that what did I want to emphasize? Because my lens is more towards, like, the government, like, maybe it's the government. But because I think I ate with it. I just also want to say that I didn't get into this too much, but in the other video that I made, I spoke a lot about my own personal interactions with body insecurities and a little bit of body dysmorphia, because, bitch, I cannot tell you what I look like. I think I could tell you, but then in a couple years, I'll look at a picture of myself and be like, wow, like, I really didn't know what I looked like. I want to emphasize that even if I didn't say it in this video, if you see it anywhere else, I understand that you cannot girl boss your way out of fat phobia. You cannot affirm yourself out of fat phobia, because the reason fat phobia has existed for so long in our society is because it is ingrained in our social and political institutions. The same way Big Back has said so carelessly is the same reason why, you know, you can't girl boss your way and, like, say affirmations in the mirror out your way of fat phobia. But I think if we do it together, but if we all support people who are using their voice and their platforms to like say like I'm okay with my body and you're not gonna shame me out of that, even if it makes us uncomfortable for a little bit. Just like, I don't know, liking the video, reposting it, even if you can't agree with it, even if you're like, damn, I don't want that body, which you shouldn't be saying, but putting that out into the universe, because I think we all deserve the opportunity to be in love, and if not in love, I guess a neutral aspect, okay with the body that we have. Because again, I have chosen to be in a mix between body positivity and body neutrality, and a little bit into that. Body positivity is more like being really affirmational about your body. Like, I love my body. My body is so beautiful. My body is so powerful. Again, like the girl boss era. And body neutrality is kind of just accepting your body for what it does. Like, my body is here to get me through my day, and whatever. It is just a body. It should not be commodified, whatever. And I exist somewhere between the middle of those two understandings of my body, because I do love my body. My body is tea. But I also have times where, like, if I'm not feeling the best about my body, again, girl, it's real, it's here, I can't do anything about it. Like, it's a neutral fact. And I think existing between those two mediums have been really helpful for me. And placing boundaries with other people about talking about my body. I haven't had to do it in a minute. I don't think I've done it before, but I think I got to the point where I was ready to do it, and then the conversation around my body stopped. So I was like, oh, all right. So that's kind of what I imagine happening. But if I were to start those conversations, because I know mostly that comes from family members, people who we can't tell to shut the fuck up. And for me, the way I was going to address it would just be like, I'd prefer if you didn't talk about my body, because I think, especially from like older generations, they expect the younger generation to like make everything an essay or a paragraph or about canceling, or like they're so sensitive. But I'm not gonna give you that. I'm just like, girl, I'd prefer if you didn't talk about my body. And they're like, huh? Like, I just don't. Can my body not be a conversation topic? Like, if it's all right with you don't say that part, because you don't have to ask that. But just keeping it this matter of fact, like, it doesn't have to be an argument, it doesn't have to be a whole thing, you don't have to say what they did wrong. It's like, just don't talk about it, because I think that's the point. That's kind of like the tolerance that I would have gotten to if I had to do it. But again, results may vary, I don't know. But I also think what I also realize is that because those comments can really like ruin your day, ruin your life. It took me so much time to ward off, delete, and unpack comments from myself, from others about my body. It took me so much time, and I don't want to say that time was wasted, because I needed to go through that in order to get to the level of resilience that I'm at now. But I don't want anyone to lose that time or continue to lose that time to those comments. And so a way that helped me out when those comments do happen, because they come out of nowhere, you'll be feeling good and then bang, nasty comment. You're like, what the fuck? So the way that I've kind of gotten around that is sitting with why I hold this person's opinion so highly. And it's obvious, they're like a close member of a family. Like, of course, yeah, that makes sense. But this person is a regular person walking around on earth with an opinion. They just so happen to be related or hold some type of importance, whether it's a family member, a parent, a coach, a dance teacher, whoever it's coming from, and you hold it highly. They're just a regular fucking person walking around the planet Earth. Me personally, I don't know about you, but I know about me, I don't ask people's opinion on shit, nothing, regarding me and my person and my appearance and what I do with my life, more so my appearance and my body, etc. Because I don't care. It is of no value to me, because at the end of the day, it's about what I want to do and what I want to look like, etc. So on no means should I give a fuck about what some other not random, but just this other human being who is existing and maybe ill-informed has to say about my body. I just can't, because I have to live with this body for the rest of my life, and I cannot prioritize anyone else's peace above mine. Lastly, because you know I gotta get on my soapbox, I want to emphasize that, and that's my little transition phrase, before we sit and laugh and make fun of people who are fat, etc., we must turn inward and past ourselves, but directly to the core of our government, and who gets to really decide what's happening with our bodies, apparently. The United States has no universal free healthcare. You heard that, folks. Let me say it again one more time for the people in the back. The United States has no universal free healthcare. So people who could be going to the doctor a little earlier before they're diagnosed with pre-diabetes or diabetes or obesity, and I'm talking about severe obesity that is like actually harming their bodies, And again, if I made any comment about obesity that isn't factual, my apologies, correct me in the comments. But me existing as an obese person and me hearing multiple people who are obese and hearing from some type of factual source that the BMI is not a credible source of measuring if someone's like body mass is in a harmful position for their body weight because it's just based on their weight, correct me in the comments. But people who fit into the parameters of needing help because of their weight and their eating habits, because they aren't insured and they don't have a primary care physician, because they physically cannot afford to pay for one out of pocket, they aren't going to the doctor. They could be going earlier, getting checked up, but they can't, because for a lot of people who are low income or just like existing as a regular person, and by regular I mean like not rich person in this world, only go to the doctor when they're sick. There's no going for like in checkups when needed, but like there's no going just for funsies just because I want to like, you know, check up on my body in a real like sense of like how I can be well. Like no, either bitch you're sick or you need to check up for school. Either between that, live la vida loca. She had jumps like a jump. Anyway, sorry, that's not appropriate for this right now. I'm looking at my notes because I said this really well and I want to repeat it correctly. Had those people possibly been insured by a universal healthcare system with great coverage that isn't limited because Medicare and a lot of other insurance companies provided by the cities or whatever job that the person is getting benefits from are severely limited in where they can be covered, word to me, people could have been working with their primary care physician to set up some type of nutrition system. And I'm not even sure if a nutritionist is provided with a primary care physician because, again, mama's only going when I'm sick. And by mama, I mean me, not my actual mama. I don't know. But if it is, people don't have access to that. And if that wasn't the case, if people had access to nutritionists, had access to doctors before they were just sick and before they got to the point where they were like, now had diabetes, now had so-and-so, whatever, maybe our obesity rates wouldn't be so high. Maybe everybody wouldn't have something to talk about if our government actually provided people with the resources that they needed. Because, word to me, what I'm seeing on TikTok, everyone who proclaims to be like, oh yes, I'm eating so healthy, bitch, you haven't, not bitch, sorry, girl, my beloved, you have an eating disorder. Not you specifically if you're watching this, but anyone who you see on TikTok who's just talking about a juice cleanse and a detox and not eating whatever. Word to Beyonce when she was in Homecoming, talk about she was eating no carbs, no meat, no soap, no grass, no nothing, and mama said she was hungry. Word to Beyonce, you have an eating disorder. She had an eating disorder. We have not unlocked the codes to healthy eating. We have unlocked the codes to not eating. But anyways, I sound like Dr. Umar. I feel like I'm getting a little pastor preaching sense. But anyways, all of our food sucks. My mother, the other day, she was making some frozen chicken, the same chicken we get all the time from BJ's. It had a piece of plastic on it when she was going to, like, clean it or not, whatever, prepare the chicken. And she was like, what the fuck? We had to throw the chicken out because it was all plastic. We were eating plastic. Just casually on a Tuesday eating plastic. And she went to look at a bunch of other labels for the food we had in our cabinet, specifically the Cheerios. I had just bought the multi-grain Cheerios. I'm trying to be healthy and shit. Biochemically engineered in a lab somewhere. They had elements of some biochemically engineered. And GMOs and the ethicalness of GMOs is a whole other conversation. Me personally, I don't fuck with GMOs. I don't think we should. I'm thinking, the shit we had worked before, why are we messing with it? Because, corn is a GMO. It's the first GMO. Corn is good, though, so I'll give them that. But we'll talk about that later. We'll get to that later in another life, another video. But overall, our food is not organic, not real, and highly processed. Yeah, so even if you do go to the doctor and the doctor says you need to stop eating processed foods, baby, how? Everything is processed. Everything within the average person's income range is processed. Like, you could splurge a little. Well, it wouldn't even be a splurge. It would be for your health because you need to stop eating processed food. But it's difficult. Also, my mom just made some apple juice, like, with her juicer today, and it tasted really good. But, again, if the average person, not the average, but just a person who has work and has a lot of kids and have a lot of things to do they have time to be sitting in front of a juicer, juicing apple juice and making fresh apple juice? Like, do people have time for that, realistically? And lastly, what I'll end with is, and I've already alluded to this, but I haven't said it directly, but I'm going to say it directly. It would be ignorant to ignore the fact that the poverty levels in this country, in the United States of America, to be really specific, let me say your name. The poverty levels in this country are abysmal. I can't even describe it with another word that doesn't also mean poverty, because it is insane how many people are living below the poverty line and the wealth gap between the people in this world. The wealthiest nation on the globe has some of the highest levels of poverty. People can't afford to buy healthy food. A bitch like me, I tried to go to the supermarket. Well, I went to the supermarket the other day, and I bought strawberries. It was damn near $5 for a carton of strawberries. And I was on the phone with someone else who lives in Delaware, and they had strawberries for $2. So imagine living in an expensive city because you have no choice, because you can't. Because again, I'm always going to advocate for people in urban areas, because I think we forget that people can't always leave by choice and go out to the wilderness and decide to be kumbaya with the trees and shit. People have living and livelihoods to maintain here. Person living in New York, and again, that person might have other resources in order to get that strawberry at a discounted price if they have like assistance from the state, like SNAP, EBT, WIC, all those things. So maybe the strawberry prices are fine. But again, if you're existing in a middle ground where you can't really technically qualify for governmental assistance, but you're also not fucking rich, and you're paying $5 for strawberries, you're paying $200 for groceries. Hello? Like, how are you supposed to exist like that? And so I want to emphasize that when we sit and when we laugh and we make the jokes and whatever, and we stand side by side with little structures, stand on top of the structures. If you're a visual person, imagine a person standing on top of a structure next to a little gray statue, ha ha ha, laughing with the fucking faces on Mount Rushmore, like, oh, she's fat. Well, bitch, that nigga's gonna push you down into the fucking abyss with the wolves because you are eating the same food. We are breathing the same air. We are drinking the same water. You just happen to not technically look fat. But again, there are people who are technically skinny, who have underlying health conditions, who are also harmed by the same environmental factors, the same lack of food, the same like lack of education around like what healthy eating looks like, who are also affected, and maybe just aesthetically might not be bearing the brunt of that because they're not getting laughed at for being fat, but are dealing with the consequences of a violent society that does not give a fuck about the food that we eat and the environments that we're provided. And by we, okay, you're following? And I also, to close this off, fat phobia is violence from all angles. There is violence people experience for simply being fat, which is being dehumanized, people not speaking to you, people shunning you, people making fun of you, people treating you like shit, talking to you like shit because you are simply presenting in a fat body. And there's also violence in how we got into the situation in the first place. Poverty is violence. Lack of education around healthy eating is violent. What else did I talk about? Lack of healthcare is violent. So, as you can imagine, the shit is coming from all angles. And I think, what am I going to close this with? I also want to say there's nothing wrong with weight loss. There's nothing wrong with going out and deciding I want to make a choice. Because at the end of the day, what I want to tie this with a bow is, your body, your choice. And that applies on all angles. Your body, your choice. You want to get plastic surgery, your choice. You want to lose weight, your choice. Do whatever, your choice. But it becomes a problem when our commentary, our choices, the way we speak about fatness is spoken and affects people who are fat or people who are susceptible to doing harmful things to their body in fear of becoming fat. The way we so casually talk about fatness in our social circles is violent and harmful. And so again, choose to do whatever the fuck you do, but keep that to you. Don't spew borderline eating disorder content. Don't create that content. Don't talk about it so casually, because I'm just like, I think this has changed. This is rooted in fat phobia, but I'm noticing a lot of eating disorder content. And that is what's getting very scary, because the shit is so seamless that you wouldn't even realize that it is eating disorder content unless you really sat with it and unpacked it. It's scary out here. And I just want to emphasize to everyone watching this that, especially, I know fat phobia, body dysmorphia, eating disorders, it affects people across the board, across genders. And we know this, like, men are expected, or like masculine people are expected to be in like muscular bodies and be super strong and have 0% body fat. Like if you watch Glee, like Sam had an eating disorder, etc. But I just know from my experience as a woman that it is very easy to feel like my body is something to be consumed by others, and that I'm doing something wrong by not working to make my body more consumable for other people, and working to be in a body that is aesthetically pleasing and like sexually pleasing and all of the fucking above. We should be doing what feels right for our bodies and what's actually healthy for our bodies, not listening to people who don't actually give a fuck about our health, but who just are upset because we're fat or we look fat, and that whatever fat means to them. Because again, across time we understand that fatness has been understood as different things. Like, look at a picture of Hilary Duff from the early 2000s. Her in that moment, she was considered she was considered fat because she wasn't like skeleton skinny, and that's what we're getting back towards. I hope you understand that. And that's what we're not there yet, and I think there's so much we can do to prevent that, and we can prevent that by having healthier conversations about our weight, really dissecting the weight loss, the food, the content that we're consuming around like weight loss, gym culture, all of those things, and dissecting it, if this is something that's actually healthy, or is this something that's leading me into a scary part of the internet. Also, in the relationship that we have with our bodies, I really encourage you to try to develop some type of relationship with your body, and it's really harder than one would think, because I feel like I always forget that my body is like, she got things going on inside. I'm just like, all right, girl, you here. But like, and once I start sitting down with it, I just have so much more empathy, and it's just like, I just forget that anything below the neck is like, can be like loved on. I don't know, I just forget that sometimes. I think my self-esteem was so rooted in like, for the first part, when I was first on my like self-esteem confidence journey, it was rooted in like liking my face, which is crazy now, because when I look at my face now, I'm like, bitch, like that was a waste of time, like, because look at you. But and then when I knew that when it came to my body, it was gonna be significantly harder, because I'm still dealing with it. I feel like I'm at a great place now, but with this rise of like 2000s diet culture, I get a little weary, because I literally, like I was telling you, I'm seeing it a little bit in myself now. I'm like, oh, hold up. No, I also suggest that you follow people who follow a plus size fitness influencer. If you want to follow influencers, follow real people. I think I have to remind people of this. There's also, that I will link in the bio, there's a YouTuber who does a series on social media safety. And I think internet safety is something that skipped a generation. Like, I remember watching 90s, like Degrassi. Like, Degrassi was like PSA for internet safety. Like, that first episode with Emma and that random man that she was meeting online, that was internet safety. They don't do that anymore. And it's like, we have like higher risk on the internet, and they're not teaching kids or us. I don't really remember getting taught it, like vaguely when I was really young, but not as I got older, honestly. And I think we need that and those reminders. And so I suggest, I'm gonna link her some YouTube videos where you should check out her whole channel, because she's making a series on it. And I think these reminders of like, don't follow people that don't look like you, because that sets up unhealthy understandings of what your body should look like. Also understand, not everyone is meant to be skinny. Not everyone is meant to have the same body type. We're just physically not built to do that. And I hate the rise in homogeneous looking and homogenizing everyone, and everyone looks the fucking same. You should be questioning it. You should want to be, not you, but like, when I say you and I'm yelling, I'm talking about myself. So don't ever feel like I'm trying to like preach, because I'm talking to myself. But you should be questioning that. Like, why would you want to look like the next bitch? Like, look like yourself. Be yourself. Like, again, talking to myself. What else before we go, because I'm coming up on an hour and I know this is a really long video. What else? I think that's it. I think that's all I have time to say. Yeah, follow plus size people. Normalize following people who don't all look the same and have the same body type, because those people exist. And I think because we spend so much of our time on social media and not clocked in the real world, which is the craziest part, and I'm trying to like clock in more in real life, and I'll talk about that later. Follow people who look like the world and the people around you, so that you don't go out into the world and have like negative views on people who are just existing in regular bodies, because you have this preconceived notion that everyone should look like, you know. So yeah. Also, that's all I got. That's all I had to say. But I wanted to also say that this was a difficult topic to talk about, not because of my own issues with it. That was fine. But because it's just like, you know, we got to make sure the wording is okay. We got to make sure everyone's like respected, because at the end of the day, there's no negative body to have. period. As long as you're healthy, as long as you feel well, as long as the doctor's, you know, your blood work, because the doctor will tell you some crazy shit. I didn't even get time to talk about that in this video, but I'll tell you later if you want to know. As long as the blood don't lie and the blood is saying you're good to go, there is no bad body to have. And I want to make sure that wasn't misunderstood. I just want us all to be well. There's so many issues going on in this world. Our body shape, as long as we're healthy, but our body shape should not be one of them. Like, like I said before, me being insecure about my body has taken off so many years of my life. Like, I'm glad that I've caught it early on, but it's just, I think it just comes to being a high schooler and being insecure, but just like, oh my god. And I don't want that for anybody. But yes, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please like this video, because y'all were watching the video last time but you weren't liking it, so like it. Again, if you made it this far, this was a long one, but if you made it this far, comment a pink emoji or some type of pink emoji in the chat. I appreciate you for watching. Until we meet again, if we ever meet again, but for now, bye.